We have a young Derek Kwandera here.
Yes,
he usually comes.
Yes.
So he has no salary because you close before you could pay out salaries.
Yeah, precisely. And all of them are like that. They have no salary. I know that this.
How many people work for the Nation Group in Uganda?
I know that the Monitor alone, those who are there, are mostly about 300.
Daily Monitor alone has 300 employees. They don't have any money to eat food, to spend, to run their day-to-day lives, to run errands and stuff. This is destroying lives. All in what? In the name of protecting the dictatorship of Museveni and Muhoozi Kainerugaba by extension. Here.
They want to understand, they want us to sack us. They want to understand, they want us to sack some of our managers.
Wow.
They want us to sack some of our editors.
They want us to sack some of our editors and managers. What? Why?
I guess that will not happen by the
That will not happen. That will not happen, by the way. He says it. Listen.
They want to understand, they want us to sack some of our managers. They want us to sack some of our editors.
I guess that will not happen,
by the way.
Again, think about the safety of the journalists, because there is nothing like, as a leader, looking into the eyes of a journalist who's been injured on the job.
You know why she's becoming emotional? Because when she says being injured on their job, it is Muhoozi and Museveni's jackbooted thugs visiting mayhem on these innocent people who are doing their job. This is the person Muhoozi Kainerugaba wants to arrest.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
I cannot appreciate you enough for using your valuable time to always go on social media, break down things for people.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Mordecai Marissa here, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Let's launch this project once again. Listen to that. Listen to the beat, the rhythm, and the bass line. What a combination. That is Maduk Semanda Sematiba. I think I'm forgetting the title of the song. If you want to go on and write in the comment section, I would truly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the topic tonight? Uganda's standoff between the military and the independent media has just taken another dramatic turn. Days after the command of Uganda's defense forces and Museveni's nape of baby Muhoozi Kainerugaba ordered the shutdown of nation media group outlets, including NTV Uganda, Daily Monitor, Spark TV, and Dembe FM, Daily Monitor's co-founder, Wafula Oguttu, has fired back with a message of defiance, and that shouldn't be a surprise to you. The name Wafula Oguttu is synonymous with defiance. According to Oguttu, Nation Media Group will not sacrifice its journalists or dismiss staff simply to appease those in power, Muhoozi Kainerugaba and Museveni, of course. It is a direct challenge to this growing pressure on the country's independent media. This confrontation and response from Wafula Oguttu came after Muhoozi also threatened to arrest Nation Media Group Managing Director Susan Nsibirwa, famously known as Sue Nsibirwa on X platform. This escalating fears that the crackdown may be far from over. Now, whether those threats from Muhoozi Kainerugaba will materialize remains to be seen. So, in this commentary, I will go on and examine why Wafula Oguttu's response is being hailed as a rare act of resistance and defiance, what the reported threats against Susan Nsibirwa could mean for the press, and let's again expose this lawlessness and criminality and the arrogance from these Muhoozi and Museveni and their enablers and acolytes, how they break the law with pride. It is unbelievable. Okay, but before I actually take you there, you know, the first time when I made the first commentary regarding this issue, I said the closure or the shutting down of this media conglomerate don't look at it from a political point of view. Look at it from a humanistic point of view. These are careers being destroyed. Families that will go without food. Families that won't be able to go and attend their medical appointments because they don't have money. This is what I meant. Here is Wafula Oguttu saying, hey, we've not been able to pay our staff.
So we have a young Derek Kwandera here.
Yes,
he usually comes.
Yes.
So he has no salary because you close before you could pay out
Yeah,
salaries.
precisely. And all of them are like that. They have no salary. I know that this.
How many people work for the Nation Group in Uganda?
I know that the monitor alone, those who are there, are mostly about 300.
Daily Monitor alone has 300 employees that don't have any money to eat food, to spend, to run their day-to-day lives, to run errands and stuff. This is destroying lives. All in what? In the name of protecting the dictatorship of Museveni and Muhoozi Kainerugaba by extension. This is sickening. This is banana republic stuff. And yes, Uganda, I know it is a banana republic, but it doesn't take away the weight of living in one. I'm not in a banana republic, I'm in the USA, but I know what it means. I was born and raised in the ghetto. I know what it is not to have money to feed you. I spend countless nights without food, walking to school and back, having to suffer. But why? These people are suffering not because they don't want to work, because they're writing stories that Muhoozi doesn't find appeasing.
100 people, monitor
Yes,
alone.
and then the monitor alone, yeah.
Then you have
NTV.
NTV.
Then, of course, you have the outlets.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned if you're there and you're able to create some sort of a fund, please create one and let's contribute. I got my $200 for a start. That is 720,000 shillings. If somebody's able to come up with a fund where we contribute something we have to our folks, here I am. I wanted to do it, but I realized it would be a little difficult. So if somebody's there and, it is legit, please tell us.
There are quite a number. Maybe I might estimate that about 30,000 people could be affected by this whole
3,000 people.
losing job, losing income, losing livelihood.
That's really, really, really sickening. Okay, now let's go to where he says we're not going to be firing our people. Now that's defiance. That's listen to what he says. I love it. Here.
They want to understand, they want us to sack us. They want to understand, they want us to sack some of our managers.
Wow.
They want us to sack some of our editors.
They want us to sack some of our editors and managers. What? Why?
I guess it wouldn't be the first
That will
time.
not happen by the
That will not happen. That will not happen, by the way. He says it.
They
Listen.
want to understand, they want us to sack some of our managers. They want us to sack some of our editors.
I guess it
That will
wouldn't
not
be the
happen.
first
That will
time.
not happen, by the way.
That will not happen, by the way. That's thank you so much. Now I'm gonna read pretty much this has become like a Bible scripture that I usually go back to. Of course, not a Bible scripture. This is a book from Timothy Snyder, but I keep on going back to chapter number 1 in this book on tyranny. Timothy Snyder used to be professor at Yale University. I think he left the USA to Canada. But in this very tiny book, he writes on tyranny, 20 lessons from the 20th century. Okay? This is what he says. Read that with me. You see? I'll read you. Here. He says, most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, they're referring to times like that, what you see in Uganda, turmoil, anarchy, tyranny, lawlessness, and impunity, and, abuse, name it. That stuff you see in Uganda, I don't have, there's not even a bad description enough to define what's going on in Uganda. But he says, do not obey in advance, okay? Most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. So that's why what Wafula Oguttu is saying is so great. That is when I say, please inject that in my vein. Because what Muhoozi is trying to do is instill fear. bow to him. But despite of what they're going through as we speak, the co-founder of Daily Monitor says, no, we're not dismissing some of our stuff. No. And I hope he continues to defy. Because the moment you bow, then you're teaching Muhoozi, you know, you just have to threaten them. You just have to shut down the TV and they will all wave a white flag. Do not do it. That's what you're seeing. Says, no, we're not going to do it. That is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I want to take you back to, I want to show you, again, the madness of Muhoozi Kainerugaba. You see, Muhoozi Kainerugaba has been threatening to arrest Sue Nsibirwa, the managing director. Yes, he says, I hear there's a small girl called Sue. We are looking for her. We will discipline her. She cannot cause chaos in our country. You are the one causing chaos, Dandahead. You're the one causing chaos. Chaos is abducting people. Muhoozi, let me talk to you. Come here, Muhoozi. Chaos is when you abduct people and torture them and post their naked bodies on social media. Chaos is when you announce yourself to be a descendant of Jesus Christ and then go on to do things that are diametrically opposed to the ideologies and philosophies of Jesus the Christ. Chaos is when you pride in killing 22 of NUP supporters and saying you're looking forward to abduct and torture or kill Bobby Wine. Chaos is when you announce that you're going to execute Besigye by hanging. That is chaos. News or reporting is not chaos. Shut up, Muhoozi. Look, he didn't stop at that. I'll show you. On that night, he was like a madman. This is what he wrote. All police patrols are instructed to arrest her on sight. Sue Nsibirwa, I'm looking for you. And then went on to say, I hear there's a small girl called Sue. We are looking for her. We will discipline her. She cannot cause chaos. What a sick joke Muhoozi is. And Museveni as well. What a sick joke. There's no empathy. There's something lacking here. I think it is hollow. And I'm not trying to insult this man. But what do you say? What highlights, what shows what this man is? If you go on and type those kind of things, how should we describe you as? If people are killed and be like, I'm so happy I've killed 22. At one time, I think he posted and says, oh, Rejema killed more people than me. I want to surpass him when it comes to killing people. Normal people don't talk like that. And if that's not a madness, that's not a stupidity, I don't know what it is. It is evil to the core. And stupidity or madness and having a shallow mind, all of that are elements of evil. But take a look at the woman she's attacking. This is when she was talking about journalists that were brutalized in Kawempe by-election. Pay attention here, ladies and gentlemen.
And you live with it. And so for us, it's actually two ways in terms of what I think of. One, I have to think about the safety of my people. You understand? Yeah. That's paramount. I have to think about the safety of the journalists because that rhetoric that then causes violence against journalists is a real threat. I tell people that there's a journalist who was injured in the 2021 election. She is still undergoing surgery. She's undergone 5. Exactly. You posted her here. Yeah. The guys who were traumatized in the Kawempe by-election, many are still, I think there's one who still has surgery in January. Exactly. So for me, there are two things. I've got to balance that. Again, thinking about the safety of the journalists, because there is nothing like, as a leader, looking into the eyes of a journalist who has been injured on the job.
You know why she's becoming emotional? Because when she says being injured on the job, it is Muhoozi and Museveni's jackbooted thugs visiting mayhem on these innocent people who are doing their job. This is the person Muhoozi Kainerugaba wants to arrest. This is the person Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Oh, there's a small girl. See, I hear there's a small girl called Sue. We are looking for her. We will discipline her. She cannot cause chaos in our country. Hey, down the head. Chaos is when you beat up journalists, when you break their back, when you confiscate their equipment, when you shut down or raid their media houses. That is chaos. Chaos is not this woman who's trying to be like, hey, go do your job, waiting for them to report back at their stations, only for them to come bruised, others with broken limbs, others not able to walk. How did we get here?
I think that has been one of my hardest times.
Look.
To visit someone at home who cannot sleep at night because they were put in a drone and blindfolded and hit on the head. Why? Because they were doing their work.
Exactly. We are living in hell. We are living in hell. The fact that we have to explain to our people in positions of leadership, we have to walk them like that in a nursing home. Hello, Muhoozi. Okay, now you see, that's a journalist, okay? He's holding a camera. His job is to report the events, okay? Please don't be... The fact that we have to do that, that's the fact that we are in hell. The fact that we have to remind Museveni and Muhoozi, hey, I think it is wrong to abduct people and put them in a van, known as the drone, and start pounding their head. The fact that we have to tell Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Actually, he wrote on X platform and said he doesn't believe in free press. Don't take my word for it. I think I got it here. Let's go on and... did he type? I'll check that later. Let's finish here.
That, for me, is a bigger challenge. Because you have to, and then the wife then asks you, please give him something else to do. I think that's the part that I would love our security people to understand, that these are people who are just doing their jobs. They love what they do, but they go home with injuries, they go home with trauma.
Yeah, from their
so,
government.
the other part now is, dealing with journalists, trauma that journalists face. That's a whole new section now. That's a whole new thing in media houses.
And ladies, I'm sorry for pausing here. Look, I was on TV, I was on radio. That's what these people go through. Wait until you find out how much they're paid. Wait. Wait. That's why we say passion will blind you from anything and everything. These people wake up every day, go to these media houses. They know what might happen to them. But because of the passion, they will wake up and do this over and over and over again, 365 days. This is a woman, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, once fired. Read here from Chimp Reports. Nation Media Group considers hosting MD in Nsibirwa. That is Chimp Reports. And I think I guess I ran a poll. He says he run a poll here. Says in the event that Nation Media Group executives decide to sack the maverick Sue Nsibirwa, which of the following would you like to see as managing director of NMG in Uganda? And then he lists names of Daudi Kabanda, Natasha Museveni Karujire, Andrew Mwenda, and Chris Magezi. And many of them went for David Kabanda because he's coming out to be the most obsequious, useful idiot in the Museveni group of simps. And then the other one is the Natasha Museveni Karujire, Andrew Mwenda, and then Chris Magezi. I guess it says majority of, I think you're going to have to read it. I think you can see it here. Majority, 35% PLU supporters prefer Daudi Kabanda to be named as managing director of Nation Media Group to replace Sue Nsibirwa. Natasha Museveni Karujire came a close second at 32%. The poll conducted over a 2-day period received a total of 5,000 respondents. And look, it sounds like a stupid idea. Yes, it is. But if you're not going to allow people to do their job, to practice their profession, How about you appoint your own people? Let us have one TV station, one radio station. How about you do that? That would be easy to understand. Announce, order. State media. Order the rest of other media stations in Uganda to close, except for those that are do entertainment, because that's your ingredient to keep people dumb. They're sort of despondent and mundane towards the way they're being managed. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to work. They can do it. They can even go in and shut down national media group. But in the end, the Museveni criminal regime is going to fall. Muhoozi Kainerugaba's tyranny will come to an end. So you can only do this for so long. Sooner or later, the criminal regime is going to fall. There's no doubt about that. And as NMG faces this tough situation, we want to extend our sincere appreciation. Look, you may not understand how, I think they actually know. I was going to say you may not understand how much you appreciate it. But that's why Daily Monitor is the leading newspaper in Uganda. NTV Akawunga is the leading news bulletin, evening bulletin. I mean, everyone knows that. So thank you so much for standing up against this lawlessness and impunity at a time where many people think that you're supposed to be bowing down to Museveni and Muhoozi Kainerugaba. I don't know what the engagements ended. I saw Muhoozi Kainerugaba and Andrew Mwenda say, "Oh, we've held meetings." That in and of itself is wrong. Muhoozi has no right whatsoever to shut down a media house. But hey, we are in hell, so you expect all hell performances to ensue. That was one of them. It is sickening. It's sickening. And I hope, I don't even know what to say. Consider subscribing. I would truly, truly appreciate. Like this video and let me know what you think. Am I forgetting a thing here or not? My name is Mordecai Murisa, and I'm telling you, soon, change is going to be knocking on the doors of Uganda. If it does, come back to this video and be like, "Hey, Mordecai, you told us. I want to announce to you, change has arrived in Uganda." Bye-bye.